Hey everyone, it's Coach Wildman here with Beyond the Game. I have an interview this morning with Nick Bianco, and he'll be joining us regarding a bunch of stuff that he's got going on in the volleyball world, and some insight on his pro career, insight with the national team, and all that. So we'll just stand by until he starts viewing here, and there he is right now. Let's get this sorted out. Hey Nick, how are you?
Hey Dave.
Can you
As well. How are you?
can you hear me, buddy?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thanks. Thanks for joining me. It's been a long time since you and I have crossed paths. I think last time was Toronto Nationals when you were in grade 12 with Ben Chow.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, that was a while ago.
So congratulations on your wedding. I know that was last weekend, was it?
2 weekends ago
2
now.
weekends ago. Married life. Oh,
Yeah,
how
well
it
into it.
changes now. How it all changes. So congratulations on that. So I really appreciate you joining me today. You know, we're doing this Volleyball Coaches of Canada Facebook page. We had Bruce Edwards on last week. Marissa Field the week before, and Martin Reeder the week before that. It's going really well. So this kind of gives some insight to coaches that are looking for ideas on how to improve their teams, what players can look at for if they want to play pro. I know you had your pro career going on and all that stuff. So I'm hometown Surrey boy. So graduated from Fleetwood Park. Go Dragons! That's my school. Trinity Western University alumni with Ben Josephson, Player of the Year with CIS 1 or 2 years.
1 year.
1 year, right on, and then went on and played pro, and now you're actually, again married, and you're coaching with Ducks Beach out of Coquitlam. So shout out to Brian G and all the guys there. So tell us a little bit about your career.
Yeah. It's been a long one. I started, I guess, with volleyball when I was probably 14, and yeah, around grade 8, and then played club and had some good coaches throughout there, and then also started to play a little bit more beach volleyball as I got around the age of 15, 16.
Mhm.
Started to take that a bit more seriously, and then I got recruited to go to Trinity Western, and I played 5 years there. First 2 years we won championships, which was awesome. And then after, or kind of midway through there, I stopped playing beach volleyball in the summers and switched to indoor. And I had a few seasons with the indoor men's national B team, and then went to play my professional career, and which started in Germany, and then transitioned to France, and then this past season to Switzerland.
Right on, right on. So I know, like in high school, you're a Fleetwood Park graduate. You were originally destined to be a high level basketball player, weren't you? And then you kind of switched over to the volleyball. How did that all work out?
Yeah, I mean, I played a lot of sports as a kid, and I kept playing them most of the way throughout high school too. Like I was, I played high level soccer, baseball, basketball, and then volleyball was kind of the last one added. And as soon as I kind of saw like the culture around volleyball, I had early success in volleyball, and I had a lot of friends who played. It kind of created like a perfect storm that like just led me towards pursuing volleyball over the other sports.
Right on. And then you played club with, was it the Eagles, Surrey Eagles?
I started with White Rock, and then when I was actually in grade 7, then I switched to Eagles for a couple of years there, and then I switched to Fraser Valley for my 16 through 18 years.
Well, you had a wide variety of strong coaches then, because I know like Chris Marshall was Was he your coach at Eagles?
He wasn't my coach, but we had good coaches there as well.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I know White Rock doesn't exist anymore. They've Seaside has taken them on. So Sharon Carter ran that, and again, a lot of big names in the club world. So who was your high school coach? Because I'm drawing a blank here.
In high school, it was Ken Levin.
And he's with Thompson River now. He's the assistant coach.
Yeah, he's been helping out up there for a few years, maybe.
Yeah,
he's moved up there recently.
Yeah, I saw him on the site, so good for him. He was always, I mean, I was doing the senior girls at Fleetwood at the time that you were coming up in the age groups there. So you guys won a provincial championship at Fleetwood in was it your grade 12 year or grade 11 year? Grade 12, right on. So, how did you get recruited from Trinity? Was it through club? Was it through high school? Was it through camps, clinics?
Yeah, good question. I had Ben Joe as a coach when I was in U16 in club volleyball.
Yeah.
So since then we kind of stayed in touch, and he was the head of Fraser Valley back then.
Yeah.
So he was my coach when I was 16, and then Brad Hudson and Kira Iannone were my coaches after. So yeah, I think we just kind of stayed in touch, and when I was 17 is when he started to kind of discuss a little bit more about the possibility of going to Trinity.
Yeah.
And then kind of put that seed in me, and then I think it was like early September in my grade 12 year, I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Trinity. This will be awesome. It was never like
I was just talking to Ben yesterday, and we're gonna have one in 2 weeks, so I'm pretty excited to pick his mind on things, because he's probably one of the highest respected coaches in Canada, with the results he has with the Trinity men's team and stuff like that. So and really down to earth the times that I've chatted with him before. So was there any coach that really put you on the path towards post-secondary where you thought, okay, I could go play on the national team, I can go play pro, hell, I can even go play post-secondary like during your high school years? Was it your parents? Was it other players? Was it someone else's parent? Was it a coach?
Well, I'd say it definitely started with my parents and my whole family. Actually, just I've always had a very strong support system there, and they've always kind of given me the resources and believed that I could achieve whatever I put my mind to. So that was the first step there, and that was the most supportive there. And then coach wise, I had a number. I was super fortunate as a teen, as a kid, to have such amazing coaches in my life. Like just in volleyball alone, I had so many. Just like on the beach side, I had Misha Harris and Kira, who I mentioned before.
Yeah.
And then indoor, so many throughout club, and then Ben Joe really stuck out when I was 16, and then Brad Hudson took over when I was 17 and 18, and just the combination of them all, just adding different techniques and voices and support into me, and made me realize like what it took to take it to the next level, what that looked like, supported me in the process of getting there. It was just, I was very fortunate to have such amazing coaches and people in my life.
Right on. Now, I know, like, obviously you had Ben Chow was one of your beach partners through your playing career, and that would have been back in high school. And I think Kira was your coach at the time, in those days. Was there a certain time where you had to focus straight on indoor, or was there a time that you were going to go, hey, maybe let's go, try to go the Olympic run with outdoor beach? Because, you guys were a very competitive team, in your day back then. What was the factor that changed you to, focus straight on indoor, and beach was more of maybe a fun recreational type of thing?
Yeah. So throughout later high school years and even early university, it was kind of always a plan to pursue beach after. I did, and probably still do, enjoy it a little bit better than I do indoor.
Yeah.
That's always been, yeah, something. It's just, I find it really fun to play. So why wouldn't I? And as I got older and started to pay for more of the expenses on my own and have to fundraise more, I always had family support in it, but I wanted to start taking some more of that responsibility.
Yeah.
And then I realized how expensive beach was.
Yeah.
How you pretty much you have to pay to play.
Yeah.
And that kind of opened up my mind through talking with others too, but about the possibility of getting paid to play in indoor.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the process there. Is like to make it to, it was the dream for me and Ben to make it to Olympics.
Yeah.
But that was going to cost thousands and thousands of dollars.
Right.
We just weren't receiving the like we weren't getting any sponsorships at a young age necessarily to push us there or to cover lots of like the big chunks of that. We had a few little ones which were extremely helpful, but yeah, it was just like that acknowledgement of like, okay, I can either pay to play or be paid to play, and I liked both fairly similarly, and they both involve traveling around the world, and yeah, so it was just I made that switch to pursuing indoor. I think it was my third year university. I made that switch in the summer, and yeah, that's kind of what led me down the professional indoor career. And yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say that was
Yeah,
the thing.
that's the big difference between, Canada and the US is they get the financial support. They have the companies, the sponsors and all that, where it makes it a little bit easier for professional athletes to travel and do all that sort of stuff. And in Canada, we obviously struggle on, our support system for our athletes based on financial burdens that you guys take on trying to pursue a dream and stuff like that. So I hope that changes obviously in the future. You know what I mean? And as volleyball grows in Canada, we hope that those sort of opportunities change for the next generation of athlete who comes around. But I know from Kira's posts and stuff like that down in the South, universities are really pumping out their beach programs where they're building these, massive structures of beach courts now and stuff like that. And, 10 years ago, you would never see that, So yeah, funding's always been definitely a hard part regarding Canada, right? So it's a struggle. But when you played indoor with Ben, was there anything that really stuck out that now that you're coaching, you're doing some, beach coaching with Ducks. Is there certain things during your playing career that you kind of, not steal, but take and use with the next generation of athlete that you're working with now?
Yeah, I mean, as much as I could. He is, as you are, he's one of the top coaches, most respected coach, and in my mind, the best coach that Canada has in indoor volleyball right now.
Yeah.
And the things that I've kind of taken away from him don't necessarily have to do with volleyball itself. Like the first thing I would say is like person first, athlete second.
Yeah, agreed.
One of his big philosophies throughout my years there is just like turning his athletes into better men first, and then transitioning into volleyball. And I thought that was, something I've taken away, something that's really stuck with me. And then there's also like just his leading by example, like kind of behind the scenes too. Like it was just, he expected us to work really hard, and as most coaches do, but he was also putting in more work than us behind the scenes, whether that was clipping video or preparing practice plans or preparing game plans. You could really see the work that he was putting in.
Right.
So that was something that was just like, okay, if you expect your athletes to be doing something, you should also be kind of on board with that same work level.
For sure. And
And
I think with club these days, I'm only speaking on the club behalf, you know, I think some players feel uh, that the coach should be doing most of the work. And if I play for this coach, then I'm going to get my spot on a post-secondary team and stuff like that. And I like the thought process that it's a joint venture, you know, both the coach and player putting in work and moving forward with whatever their future goals are in the sport. So was there anything technical or tactical that outside of relationships with athletes that you take and try to keep pushing forward for the next generation?
everything.
Everything. Fair enough.
There, honestly, it's like after university, uh, I was fortunate enough my first year in pro to have another good coach. A lot of same philosophies and techniques that Ben taught. So I was very fortunate. Then the next year I had a coach that had like very different views and philosophies and techniques. And during that year is when I really had to think back to, okay, what did Ben say about this? What did Ben say about this? And kind of be my own coach through a lot of the skills.
Yeah.
Um, so that was, yeah, like in that year, I really figured out, oh, wow, Ben taught me a lot of things tactically and technically. I'd say one of the biggest things, or for me, attacking wise, tactically, the options that you have attacking wise, that was very clearly laid out at Trinity, and that's something that's kind of stuck with me and made me into the attacker that I am. That I am, and that's just like kill the ball first. Okay, if you can't kill the ball, recycle the ball, get it back, so you can have another chance. If you can't do that, then take the setter out, and so on. Like there's a process of like top priority, and then if you can't, you have the next one, next options. And having that laid out was very effective for me. It was easy for me to go through those options each attack, and then yeah, I don't like every skill I've taken stuff from and tried to apply it to kids. So it's not really easy to step out of that because I just have taken them all on and used all of his knowledge.
Right. No, fair enough. And no, so you're coaching beach. Are you helping out with any indoor stuff anywhere nowadays, or where are you with that on the indoor side of things?
No, I'm not helping out with any indoor stuff as of right now. I've, as you know, like I've just recently transitioned away from playing volleyball.
Yeah.
So I've kind of taken the summer to start my business and to start kind of just diving back into the coaching world a little bit with Ducks Beach there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any plans right now for the winter, for the fall or spring for indoor coaching?
And are you located? Well, obviously, Ducks Beach. You're in Coquitlam right now, or in the Lower Mainland area. Uh, from what I heard, you're potentially moving to Alberta. Is it possible?
Yeah, in a couple of weeks I'll be in Edmonton or just outside of Edmonton.
Oh, okay. Good on. Yeah. You look forward to those winters. It's a change. When I moved to Calgary, it's a change. So your first -30 day, you'll understand.
Yes.
So
That's it. Not
what's
looking
that?
forward to those so much.
Sorry.
I'm not looking forward to those days so much.
So let's have some questions. Like, I got some questions here regarding, coaching and player things. So what age do you believe players should be locked into a certain position, if ever?
Yeah, I don't know if there ever is a certain age. I think that's purely player to player base, but also if they're like just developing the full athlete, I think is more important than having them setting at 13 years old or having them play middle from 14 to 18.
Right.
Like in different spots and different positions, and then when they're a little older and they start to flourish in one another, then maybe play them there, but give them the tools that they can flourish in many of them, and then kind of let their athleticism and work decide what where they go from there.
Fair enough. And I believe that, again, based on the years of coaching, that a lot of parents try to decide for coaches, hey, my kid's a middle, my kid's a power, this, that. But they might go to a high school where, maybe they're 5'6" at, grade 8, and that could be considered tall for people in that school. And then all of a sudden they're playing middle there and they're playing power and club and stuff like that. So, I guess for me as a coach, a lot of questions I get as a club director is like, my kid's a power, she needs to be power, don't put her anywhere else. And I think players should have multiple positions that, a primary and a secondary at least before, but then I get that, I literally get that question at U14, where parents are, my kid's a power. I'm like, all right, the joys of coaching, you wait, it'll come, Nick, it'll come. So, now, I mean, if you had any power in the world to better develop athletes, are there any rules within the game that you've seen at any level that you would change? For example, setting a ball off serve, or maybe even a substitution rule, or the ball that you use.
Yeah, I would say at a younger age, playing with fewer people on the court, like getting like 2v2, 3v3, 4v4, those types of games going. I noticed that in France with the club that I was at, they had their own youth club, and there's like 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds out there. And so they made the court smaller. They put fewer kids on the court so that they could touch the ball more. They could develop their ball control from that. And because they're kind of more involved in every single play, they were having so much fun. And I feel like that's something that is kind of missing, is like, okay, well, at the professional level, like they play with 6-a-side on a 9v9 court, then we have to train them down into every age, where I think like soccer in Canada or in the world, I guess, like they do that where like the fields are smaller, there's fewer kids on the field, and then as they get older, that increases. So same thing with like how the net kind of goes higher, like same kind of progressions there with players on the court. I think that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I give credit to Volleyball BC. I mentioned this last week when I talked to Bruce Edwards. Volleyball BC is doing like a U12, U11 league, and they shrink the court down. I think it's 3 feet shorter, on each end line. And what I was able to watch the provincials with the U12, and I was like, that's a really cool idea. And for me personally, I hope that more provinces, to grow the game, try to implement U12, U11 type programming with a modified court size. I think that will only strengthen our programs in the long run. So kudos to Volleyball BC on that. Now talking about growing the game, is there something that we're missing in Canada, or something we can do better to obviously grow the game so that our men's and women's teams are stronger on a world level, on indoor or beach?
Yeah, I mean, they're getting right now. It's a pretty cool time in Canada and volleyball Canada, because like both indoor beach men's and women's are just on and up right now.
Yeah.
They seem to just improving each and every year, so they're doing a lot of good things, it looks like. From outside looking in, and from someone who was in the systems a little while ago, I would say that they have these amazing coaches in right now. They have these world-class coaches that are taking their teams to the next level. I just think that, again, I haven't been in the system for a while, but like I think that funding, or like just the support, not necessarily more money, but just the support that they receive could be a little better, or like have housing for them, or have it's also the support though. Like they're on the court, awesome coaches. Off the court, like having some more support systems through that, whether it's like mental training, which I believe they have in there now, incorporated. I think that's through Marble Labs, which I've heard really awesome things about. But just incorporating more of those things off the court that are gonna kind of help take them to the next level, help them stay healthier, help them stay mentally strong throughout it. Yeah, just a lot more support, whether it's financial or specific to off court, like mental prep or physical prep or nutrition or whatever it is. I think that will really take any program to the next level.
Right. Now, when you played pro overseas, how was the support system there playing on a pro level? You know, obviously you had trainers and multiple levels of coaches, but more back end stuff as well. Like how was it different there than it is in Canada playing? You know, you played on the national B team.
Well, I would say there's probably more support in a sense playing on, like, from the teams that I played on pro versus the national B team. I would say the national team does a good job in comparison to all the teams I played on.
Okay.
Because I wasn't on the big budget clubs, but I went to clubs. They had a coach. They had maybe an assistant coach. Some had a personal, like a trainer, a strength coach. Others, the first and last coach, they were both strength coaches as well, so they took that on. We had physios on all the teams, but only on like certain days, or they only came to the gym certain days, or we could go to their office on other days. So in that sense, like, Canada actually does a really good job at that, supporting the athlete.
Awesome.
But it's kind of different from professional to national team. And I think most national teams kind of have those things in place where they have their physios at practice or at the gym. I think it's just like, yeah, taking it a little step further can help improve them there.
Cool.
Yeah.
So tell us what you're doing now. I know that you're doing something with athlete, wellness. Tell us about it.
Yeah. So Athlete Wellness Academy, I started that up with Misha Harris, he was my coach when I was younger. He was my personal trainer. He was my health coach when I was in France online. And we kind of started discussing it 2 summers, or last summer, of this possibility. He came up to me and approached me and was like, I have this idea. Do you want to be a part of it? Like, we'd fit really well together. And so ever since last August, I guess, we've kind of been working on developing it. And what we do is we focus on the 20 or 22 hours that athletes spend away from the court.
Okay.
So we feel those are the hours that athletes can take their game to the next level. Those are the hours where athletes get better. Those are the hours where they make their gains. And those are the hours where they stay healthy, energized, and motivated enough that when they go to practice, they can give their 100% for the coaches. So that's kind of our goal behind it, is like to help athletes build habits off the court that's going to benefit them when they step back on.
Now, is this something that's just in BC?
So it is in BC right now. As I move to Edmonton, I'll be approaching some more teams and clubs up there. But it's online largely. One of our main services we offer is an online course, which is a 12-week course that dives into nutrition, mindset, purpose, movement, recovery, and attempts to build habits in all those areas each week. So the people going through it, they'll learn about the topic, they'll gain some knowledge, but our thing is that habits are more important than knowledge. So we attempt to provide tools and provide challenges for them to start applying what they just learned that week into their daily routine, and then progress them throughout the 12 weeks. And then, so that's like how it's kind of available for everyone. And then we also do work with teams, whether that's a one session at a camp or working with a team throughout the season. And we do individual clients as well, and individual performance coaching. So that's movement quality, but that's also nutrition, that's recovery, and that's kind of the most personalized approach to this all. It allows you to really see what a person or an athlete needs and how to progress them to make them better today.
So if a coach wants to get a hold of you, how can they get a hold of you?
yeah, either you can Facebook me or go to Athlete Wellness Academy on Facebook and send us a message, or athletewellnessacademy@gmail.com and send us an email.
Okay.
And yeah, if they or get a hold of me on Instagram in any of those ways too. We're all over the place, or you can just contact myself.
Fair enough. Well, I know that, you're moving to Edmonton, so, there's definitely the club world up there is in the Edmonton zone is very competitive, and you might have there's a familiar face that was tuned in here, Craig Marshall, and that's Chris Marshall's son. He's coaching with NABC, so I'm sure you guys will cross paths at some point or another. But I mean, I'm in Calgary. I'd love to get a hold of you regarding this with my personal club. But yeah, no, it's really exciting news that that's the next step in your career and helping athletes and bettering the sport of volleyball. So is it volleyball only, or is it multi-sport?
It's open to all sports. I'm doing a camp with Irish dancers coming up in August.
Oh, okay.
So it's open to sports, but right now we have a largely volleyball-based clientele.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons, right now, like me and Misha were involved in the volleyball community heavily, so that's kind of where our connections are. So we're trying to talk to some people and just see what they think, and it's going really well so far. So it's been tons of fun.
Right on. Well, Nick, it has been exciting to watch your career. I've known you since you were in grade 9.